Good morning, people. It is 9:51 in the morning, and I just wanted to do like a quick video before uh, movies started coming out here again. New movies, I mean. And when that happens, I'll have to be doing reviews for those. But before that happens, I just wanted to kind of look at what we have in store for us for 2014. So I'm basically here on Wikipedia, and I'm going to just run through the 2014 in film list, and we'll see what we have. So yeah, this is basically gonna be like kind of informal kind of thing. I'm just gonna be picking out movies that seem to be interesting or like I have something to say about. And take note that these are going to be the American release dates, not the Philippine release dates, and that goes either way. Sometimes we get movies really early, like a week or two early. Sometimes we get movies months late or not at all. This is just like a general overview of stuff. So let's get to it. Okay, February. This first one I'm actually looking forward to, kind of. Feb 7th says the Lego Movie, and I know this might be also a failure, but trailers are actually making it look really cool. I mean, like just the animation style, and I don't know, the humor seems to be like it knows what kind of humor it is. It's really silly. It looks fun. Also coming out that day is The Monuments Men, which was pushed from last year to this year, but I think this is gonna be good. It's directed by George Clooney, stars a bunch of people. It's about a group of people who are sent into World War II to retrieve art that Hitler had stolen, and that's an interesting perspective for me. You know, the preservation of art and stuff. And they mentioned in the trailer like, who cares about art? Well, it is a very important part of a culture, and it's interesting that they're taking a war movie in this direction. If anyone read Vampire Academy, I mean the books, I know they were books. I think there's gonna be a movie. No, no comment there. Okay, and they are also coming out with three biblical movies this year. The first one of which is Son of God, which, if I'm not mistaken, was is kind of based on this miniseries they had on TV called The Bible, and this one's pretty much about Jesus, I guess. But it's funny that the trailers make it look like some huge like spectacle when I feel like they should be taking a more grounded approach to it. Okay, March we're getting 300 Rise of an Empire. This one is the sequel to 300, and I don't know. I feel optimistic about this. It's an interesting direction to take the franchise. Well, I'm assuming it's gonna be a franchise now. I don't know. Zack Snyder is not directing it, so I don't know. It could go either way again. Also coming out is the Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson, and based on the trailers I've seen, this looks great. I mean, Wes Anderson has a very specific style. It's very like everything is just framed to perfection, and this one actually looks really really funny and has Ray Fiennes playing, someone he's unrecognizable in this. Need for Speed, the movie adaptation of the racing video game, and I'm actually a bit interested in watching this solely for Aaron Paul, who plays Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad, and he's an incredible actor. He's probably going to be the best part of the movie, I can tell. Uh, but I'm hoping that he can kind of be so good that he'll rescue it from mediocrity, hopefully. And I didn't watch Veronica Mars like on TV, but I know some people did. So yeah, that's coming out also in March. And the newest teen young adult sci-fi novel turning into movies, Divergent, with Shailene Woodley, who is a great actress though. So I'm hoping she brings something to the table. The second biblical movie coming out in the series, Noah, surprisingly directed by Darren Aronofsky, who directed Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan. So I don't know. It's interesting to see him directing something like this, and it's a strangely huge cast: Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Logan Lerman, Emma Watson, Anthony Hopkins, Mark Margolis. Oh, okay. Uh, we'll see how it goes. Although I don't think it's gonna be as good as his like real psychological stuff, but I could be wrong. Okay, April, we're getting the big stuff here. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which looks really exciting. Although I feel like it's gonna be like Thor: The Dark World in the sense that uh, it's gonna kind of lose that originality that the first one had going for it. But I like Chris Evans in this role. I like how the trailers are making it look. So, and of course I'm looking forward to see how it ties up to the Avengers: Age of Ultron. Transcendence is also coming out in April. That's being directed by Wally Feister, who's the cinematographer for Christopher Nolan, and it looks interesting. It feels like Johnny Depp's gonna play a normal character for once for the first 20 minutes of this movie, and I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Okay, and May is the really big month though. First of all, we're getting the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I'm a bit nervous about because there's so many villains in it. Although we know now they're building up to a Sinister Six spin-off. Uh, but I don't know. Like I like the cast, and Mark Webb, of course, directed 500 Days of Summer, so I like him too. Uh, this is like it's on such a tightrope, you know. Like they could do this wrong, they could do this right, and but hopefully they make wise choices. They don't kind of bloat it. So and then May 16, Godzilla is coming out, which is huge. Of course, I'm interested in watching it because it's Godzilla, and Bryan Cranston's in it. And really, like I think all of Bryan Cranston's years doing Breaking Bad has kind of taught him how to pick really good scripts. So I'm hoping he saw something in Godzilla that was really worth, being a part of. And really, like, it just looks so great. I mean, it looks like a really desolate monster movie, which is exciting. And of course, like, one huge movie coming out in May is X-Men Days of Future Past. And I, for one, really like X-Men First Class. I really like X2. I'm okay with the first X-Men movie, but Bryan Singer is definitely the best director the X-Men franchise has had, and it's great to see him coming back. And I think they really know what they're doing, merging these two franchises, these two generations, because they already announced the sequel to this, which is X-Men Apocalypse, and I don't know. Here's hoping it's gonna be worth it. One movie I know people are excited about is Maleficent, and I have not seen Sleeping Beauty, but I'm more excited for this with the possibility that this opens up um, more opportunities for Disney to focus on the villain characters, which is great. I think. I mean, right as soon as they announced this, I started thinking, what if they made a movie about Clayton from Tarzan or Gaston from Beauty and the Beast? In June, Edge of Tomorrow, which is like the new Tom Cruise Scientology vehicle, uh, looks like source code, and I don't know, like I think I prefer Tom Cruise in like his more grounded action roles, like the same Mission Impossible, which isn't really grounded when I think about it, but you know what I mean. The Fault in Our Stars. I have not read the book, but it is a hugely popular book, and I know everyone's gonna be watching this again with Shailene Woodley. Uh, can't really say anything about it. Haven't read the book, but probably check it out. 22 Jump Street, which I think is really great because 21 Jump Street was hilarious, and them going to college seems to open up more gateways for them to be like more raunchy, more obscene, which I actually think works for this series. How to Train Your Dragon 2. Don't kill me, but I haven't seen the first one. I know I probably will soon before this comes out, but this looks really cool. How to Train Your Dragon has proved itself to be DreamWorks' like best and most popular, most successful franchise since Shrek, I think, and here's hoping that it stays strong. Transformers: Age of Extinction. The only thing worth noting here is that Shia LaBeouf isn't in it anymore. We have Mark Wahlberg, and I don't know, maybe that'll allow for more like adult-oriented action, or I don't know, but I doubt Michael Bay has learned. Okay, in July, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This looks great, as in, wow. The first one is really good, and this one, having Jason Clarke and Gary Oldman in it, I'm, I'm stoked. It just looks really cool. Jupiter Ascending is from the Wachowskis, and Cloud Atlas was kind of disappointing for me, so I'm not exactly on board yet. Then in August, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the last movie before the Avengers Age of Ultron, so I'm really interested to see how this ties up with that because you basically have two different superhero teams now, and I don't know, like it just looks so interesting. The fact that you have Bradley Cooper voicing Raccoon, you have Vin Diesel voicing Groot, the talking tree entity thing. You have Batista playing one of the guys in there, and Zoe Saldana, Chris Pratt. I don't know, like it's definitely a risky move for Marvel to take, but the fact that they pushed through, I think, says that they're confident with it. And James Gunn is the director, like I think he can, like these are his elements. He can really work with this, I think. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, with Megan Fox as April O'Neil. I don't think so. The Giver is coming out also as that book by Lois Lowry. I have a lot of friends who are fans of this book. I am too, and I'm hoping they do it justice. It's kind of thin on story in my opinion, but we'll see. Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. I haven't seen the first one, although I hear it's great. Although I did hear that they pushed this back also like an entire year, so hopefully that's not too bad a sign. In September, there's like nothing I'm interested in. So we go on to October, and we have Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher, and I'm a huge fan of David Fincher. Everything he does is so interesting to me, from Fight Club to Seven to The Social Network, which I think is his best movie, and this stars Ben Affleck, and I think that David Fincher knows how to get good performances from his actors, and I don't know, the combination of Affleck and David Fincher, not to mention Neil Patrick Harris is in this movie for some reason. I know this is based on a book, a really popular book I hear, and I don't know, I don't want to know anything about it, and I just want to really hope it's good. November is one big movie that I know a lot of people are looking forward to, Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan. This is first thing after the Dark Knight trilogy, and I don't know, knowing Christopher Nolan is probably going to be great. Matthew McConaughey is in it, Anne Hathaway again, Michael Caine again, Jessica Chastain, Matt Damon, Ellen Burstyn, Topher Grace, Casey Affleck. Wow, a lot of people, and no one knows what it's about yet. Like time travel and wormholes, they say, but we'll see. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Uh, for those who have read the books, I think you'll. I mean, I think most of you will agree with me when I say that I'm not very excited for this, and not because of the cast or the director, but because the book itself is pretty much a letdown. Catching Fire is the best the Hunger Games ever got, in my opinion. I am kind of hoping that Francis Lawrence, uh, like, knows how to deal with this book. Like, I'm sure he's read it, and I'm sure they know what they're doing with this whole part one, part two thing. Because I honestly don't know how they're gonna split Mockingjay into two parts. There's not enough content, I think. Okay, and December, we have our third biblical movie. That's Exodus, directed by Ridley Scott. Um, this could go either way. Again, I heard The Counselor was a disaster, and Prometheus wasn't exactly like the masterpiece everyone was expecting it to be. Uh, and however, this stars Christian Bale, Sigourney Weaver, Ben Kingsley, John Turturro, Joel Edgerton, and Aaron Paul again. So I know that cast is really strong, and hopefully, again, I hope Ridley Scott knows what he's doing. And the last thing here that I really want to watch is The Hobbit: There and Back Again. And uh, I really, really love anything that's set in Middle Earth. Um, there and Back Again, I don't really know so much about what's going to happen in this movie. I just know possibly the Battle of the Five Armies. I don't know, I really think that the Hobbit trilogy gets better and better as it goes, so I really think in this movie, Peter Jackson will really achieve what he was going for. Like, I think he's a director who really learns from past mistakes. So yeah, other than that, there's like Into the Woods, which is a Disney musical which has been in production for years. They say like decades, and I don't know. I just want to say that it's interesting that Disney's really trying to go back to their musical roots, which I think is great because Frozen is great. And I don't know, like I'm feeling optimistic. Okay, so that is 2014 in a nutshell. It's a lot of stuff coming out, um, but I'm sure more stuff will be announced in the future, in the near future. All right, so what do you guys think about 2014 in film? And whatever you think, leave me a comment and let's have a conversation.